And welcome to another Cheat Meal Monday. Today's recipe can be a vegetarian dish, or it can be used as a full meal dish. And I'm using it today as a full meal dish. Today's recipe comes from one of my favorite cookbooks, and this is the Gooseberry Patch Cookbook. Can you believe it? I got this last year for $1 at the Dollar Tree. And the recipe is called Green Bean Corn Casserole. I made a similar recipe the other week, and a lot of you said, hey Tessie, you can make it with corn. And so I found a recipe. The reason for making this recipe today is I have a lot of food in my refrigerator that needs to get used up. At the end of the year, so I really would like to make sure all of my food is used up from 2014 and 2015. And I will have that all used up by the end of this year. So then starting January, I will have only 2016 through 2018. Get started and see how it tastes. And this is called, once again, the Green Bean Corn Casserole. And of course, I will share with you this recipe at the end of my video. The first thing we're going to do in this green bean casserole, it's called Green Bean Corn Casserole. And a few of you have mentioned this before about that you knew that there was a casserole with corn in it. And I'm really trying to focus on using up things in the pantry. And one thing that I really need to use up on is some of my green beans. Now you can use this recipe with broccoli or any other kind of vegetable, but green beans is what I really need to use up. And as you see, this is from 2014. This is the last of my 2014. And you can see that there's a little bit of rust on the outer edges. And that's okay as long as your lid is sealed, and we will listen for that pop when we open it. But you can tell it really needs to get used up. This casserole does not call for any meat in it, but because I'm making this as a main meal, I'm going to add some of my canned chicken. And I have a few of them from 2015. And so we're going to use chicken in it. So let's go ahead and let's open up these jars of green beans and make sure they're sealed correctly. I'd like to know, how do you open your cans? Because I've gotten so much talking about how I open my cans with a knife. I am going to use this knife. It's not as sharp. Yep, that was sealed really good. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to drain this one. And that one was sealed too. So I'm going to go ahead and drain these, and then we'll put them in my nice big bowl, which you know where it came from. I love these big bowls. In fact, if I can find some more of them, I'm going to go ahead and get them as well, because I use big bowls every day for almost every project that I do. Now, the first thing it says is to put a layer of green beans on an ungreased casserole dish. So we have our casserole dish right here. We're going to go ahead and just put the green beans in the bottom of it. I will share with you the recipe at the end of my video. One more time, that I am going to share the recipe at the end of my video. At the end of every video, you will have the recipe. A few people haven't watched to the end of my video and wonder where my recipe was. But the recipe is always there, and it will be right before Fanny's diary. I cannot grow corn here on my little homestead. And the reason why I can't grow corn is because we have deer. And the deer will eat it up. So corn is something I cannot grow here. Corn in our bowl, and now we're going to just go ahead and add all of the other ingredients. It calls for 8 ounces of water chestnuts. Now I know a lot of you complained about water chestnuts, but I actually really enjoy them. It has a really good crunch to it, and it just adds a little something to the casserole. As you know, you can substitute, you can remove things out of this casserole, you can use it to however you like it. And then it calls for 1 cup of shredded cheddar cheese, and I'm going to just estimate it, because as you know with me, and you know I love cheese. It calls for one 10.5-ounce can of cream soup, and I have cream of mushroom soup. You should probably have cream of chicken soup, but the cream of mushroom soup was on sale. Yes, I am going to be making my own cream soups here coming in January. A kind subscriber has given me a recipe how to make your own cream soups with dried ingredients. So I am really excited about that, but I'm really busy as this is coming up close to the time of Christmas, and so I don't have time to be working on that now, but I will be when the time comes. It calls for some sour cream. It calls for a cup of that, and I have leftover sour cream from a previous meal, so we're going to go ahead and just put it all in there. It's about a cup. What I like to do is at the end of every week I look at the foods that I have that need to get used up, and then that is why we make casseroles like this. Now, of course, this doesn't look so good because it's going to go over top of the green beans at the bottom of the casserole, and that will give it a little more color. Go ahead, and I'm going to add some of my canned chicken simply because I want to make this a full course meal. One of the best things I love to can is chicken because chicken is so versatile and it's so easy to just pull it out of your pantry, and it makes amazing recipes in casseroles because the chicken is just so tender. So we're going to go ahead and add the chicken. I'm going to go ahead and stir this up really well. This would be great for a Christmas side dish if you don't want to add the chicken to it. Now, since we're on using things up, I have a little bit of my cheese that I had from last week's. And I am using the same spoon because I'm using the rest of this. If I was not going to use the rest of this, I would not be dipping with the same spoon. But because we're using everything up, it's no use we dirty any more utensils. So we're just going to put that in because simply I want to use that up. So we used up 1, 2, 3, 4. We used up 4 different things of canned food. Now we're going to go ahead and pour all this on top. My mother used to make a little bit something like this for Christmas without the chicken. And this was a good side dish to the turkey or ham or whatever you were having. And we just spread that right on top. So there's our casserole, and now it calls for 1 sleeve of these butter crackers. I get these at Aldi. They're like the Ritz crackers, but they're a lot cheaper. And it calls for half a cup of butter. So I'm going to show you how I make my homemade butter that you see here, and then I'll get back to you and we'll put the topping on. So here I am. Bet you're wondering, a lot of you don't understand what I'm doing. I'm taking cream, and in 10 minutes I will make butter with this. It's all part of being simple and simple living. Depends on what circle of people I'm in. They think I'm really eccentric, odd, and strange. Talking about shaking cream to make butter. What in the world is that all about? It's about the simple things in life. Well, sure, I could go and buy a pound of butter. It'd probably be a little cheaper, but it's not always about what is the cheapest. Even though for me, living simple has become a lot cheaper. It's about having a purpose. So, getting up in the morning and starting my load of laundry and washing my dishes, and making homemade soap has given me great purpose. After the heart-to-heart, the butter was finished. So what you're seeing is the butter and the other is the whey. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to rinse this and I'll put it into my molds. I melted the butter. And all I did is I just mashed up the crackers already in the sleeve. If you do it really carefully, you won't pop it open and it's no mess. So that's how I did it. You just open the top and we're going to pour the crackers into the butter. I try to use as little containers as I possibly can so we don't have so many dishes to wash. So we're going to go ahead and just lightly coat all of these cracker crumbs with the butter, and this is what really makes it good. This is what tops it all off, because it has a little bit of a crunch when you go to eat it, and it's so good. Okay, that's perfect. I'll slide my casserole here. We're going to go ahead and we're just going to sprinkle it on top. Doesn't that look good? Looks just like the picture. So it's 400 degrees for 40 minutes. Friends, the casserole is finished, and doesn't that look pretty? So let's go ahead and give it a taste and see what it tastes like. That sure is good, but it's really hot. That is amazing with the corn in it. You guys were right. This casserole is great with corn in it. Everybody has a great day today, and I hope that you give this recipe a try. You can make it as a vegetarian dish, maybe for a Christmas meal, or you can have it as a full meal. I like it with the chicken in it. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. From Fanny's Diary, we're on December the 17th, 1942. Today I attended Sewing Circle, and I had so much fun with the ladies of the church.